the One Piece fans of the Bros Who Think Network. We are back. Sorry for the delay. I feel like, let me see. I'm going to check right now when the last time we dropped a video, but don't worry. We got a lot planned for y'all. So we haven't dropped a video One Piece wise in 3 weeks. So we've been on vacation. I just got back from Vegas, but don't worry. The break's almost over for the chapters, which means we're going to be back making consistent videos, but we got a lot of good stuff for you. Before I introduce any of that, let me introduce my co-host. As always, let's start to the left. We got my man, Jazz. Jazz, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Life good. I'm off tomorrow.
Hey!
It's a good day.
Also, if you are going to DreamCon, let y'all know, on the 28th, 29th, and 30th, we will be in the building. The anime department of the Bros Who Think podcast will be at DreamCon. Myself and Krissa will be at DreamCon. We're going to try to get Versen to come next year. But we will be at DreamCon. We'll be talking. Right now, we have one panel on a wait list, which will be the master and student panel, where we talk about the best apprentice and teacher relationships in anime and manga and what those mean. That's on a wait list. But what got accepted is our conversations on One Piece. Yes, we will be discussing the One Piece anime, the One Piece manga. We'll probably try not to do spoilers, but we'll talk about the best One Piece characters, the best One Piece themes, all things One Piece. And if you are at DreamCon, make sure you are in the building. Let me, I think I have the day exactly. I don't think they dropped the schedule, but I think they told me what day our panel would be. Let me pull that up.
While you're looking that up, I hope if your panel does get accepted, I hope you guys don't bring up Akashi, because in retrospect, not that good of a mentor, really. Just saying. He helped Sasuke learn one jutsu, and then all the kids left for the Sani, and they all bounced.
That's funny. Okay, so the like I said, the One Piece panel did get accepted, and we will be at on okay, so yeah, no, I'm a tad confused. I think we're gonna end up getting both of them, honestly. So the One Piece one definitely got accepted, but they're telling me the master and student one got accepted as well. So Saturday at 5:30, 6:30. DreamCon's a little backed up because they got a lot of panels. But either way, we will be there doing at least minimum one panel. So make sure you are there. DreamCon.
I'm scared. They gonna be people there. I'm pretty sure they're gonna come up to me and they're gonna be on my ass about all that Mihawk slander I've been doing. But you know what? Your boy gonna have the books for him. You feel me?
I hope they get on your ass, because that Mihawk slander is ridiculous. Get on his ass.
Man, Jazz is gonna run just like Mihawk. That's crazy.
There you go. You can't be doing this every fucking episode, you slanderers. Also joining us. Hold on, let me introduce Versen before y'all get to y'all slander. Also joining us, Versen. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, what up, y'all? How's it going? Happy almost 4th.
Do we celebrate the 4th?
What do you mean we? I don't, but I got my own reasons.
Well,
I sleep.
Yeah, me too. I celebrate Juneteenth.
It's good for barbecue, though. I mean, it's good for barbecue.
Yeah, no, facts. I got to see if my pop's barbecuing so I can go pick some up. If not, I'm going to have to barbecue for myself.
It is weird it's on a Tuesday this year, though. So
yeah, it is. But hey, like I'm okay. That gave me an extra day off. My mom was like, the radio station gave y'all off on Monday? I was like, hell yeah, bro. We get an extra day off because it's a Tuesday. 4th on a Tuesday. That shit's fire. That shit is gas. So, yeah. But shout out. I will say this. Even though I made a joke about not celebrating the 4th, I will say thank you to all the military and the people in the military who serve and allow us to have our freedoms. Shout out to my homies who are in the military. I really appreciate y'all. Whether or not this country does good things, that doesn't matter, in the sense of the military deserves our support in this. And if anything for the 4th, I'll celebrate them. Because, they are doing a sacrifice that my ass couldn't do. So I'm sitting right here doing a pod. So, but shout out to them. And shout out to my co-host. Glad to be back. So what I'm thinking is, for this video, we're going to just do a One Piece open floor discussion. We'll talk the live action TV show that's coming. We'll talk a little bit of the anime. We'll talk about the SBS. And we'll talk a little bit about, some Gorosei theories that we may have or something. We'll do a separate Gorosei video by itself where we dive deep into all of that. But where do y'all want to begin? It's been break. A lot of things have happened. Y'all want to start with the live action?
Yeah, I feel like that's the hot topic.
Yeah.
Unless you want to start somewhere else, Version.
I think it'd be a good topic because, as we know, I am the live action strongest soldier. So
you are a fan. So
I mean,
I feel like Lynn is on like the left side of like nah. I'm like in the middle to where I'm like it could be good. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you say that because so I'll say this. I was really anti this. I was very, very anti this pre the trailer. I was anti this before Cowboy Bebop got released. But I said if Cowboy Bebop was successful, that would show me, hey, Netflix is working to making this stuff work. Cowboy Bebop was not successful, but I blame Netflix. They did not include Watanabe. They did not include some of the other creators. The only thing they really did was make sure they had the soundtrack right, which is like, what the fuck? What are y'all doing? And the fact of the casting showed me that they had no knowledge of what they were doing. I understand that John Cho's a great actor. Like, you know, he's Harold and Kumar. John Cho or John Chu, however you pronounce his name. Good dude. But to me, the casting of him showed me they did not understand the source material in the sense of Spike should not be older than Jet. Like, and I know people may say, "Oh, Lennon, that's nitpicky." This no. That shows me you don't understand what you're doing, and it goes even further in the Knives and Spike relationship that was portrayed in the show, the Faye and Spike relationship that was portrayed in the show. They did not understand the material. The only thing they got right was Jet. Jet was perfect. I loved Jet, and the fact that they couldn't execute Cowboy Bebop, which is essentially a Quentin Tarantino style hitman show, which Americans have super knowledge about, and with throw some sci-fi, some Western elements, that should have worked. And the fact that that didn't work made me scared for this. Now we get to this. Oda's actually involved, though. That's the difference between Bebop and this. Oda's extremely involved, and the trailer kind of alleviates some of my concerns, but I'm still worried. So, Jazz, I'm not all the way on the left like it would seem. I'm like more towards the middle.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're mostly, yeah, I understand that.
And it's just because of Oda being directly involved, and the people who are actually working on it are fans. That's a huge thing to me because the Cowboy Bebop people weren't fans. The people working on this is fans. So we could that's kind of where I sit. Where explain how you feel, Jazz, and then we'll go to Versen and then we'll dive into it.
So with anything live action, I was definitely skeptical because, like, you know, a lot of people's like talking points on why this will be good. They're like, oh, Oda's involved, and I'm like, that's not enough for me.
It's really
you know
not.
What I'm saying? Like because the way that he worded it in his letter, not the one, it was the one before he took a break. How he was talking about the live action, and he was like, this is the last chance for like One Piece to break the mainstream. I think he primarily means the West, like the Western audience. Means. So Oda can oversee a lot of stuff, right? But it's like we're on two different spectrums. Like sometimes I get Japanese humor, sometimes I don't. And it's like if you're trying to get that audience of like Westerners who have never even given One Piece a chance, Oda can oversee it and say, yeah, but it's on the it's the responsibility of the people who are like producing and directing it to be like, oh, well, this would work because Americans would understand this, or this would work because I think everybody would understand this. So
my only pushback to that is he has to be involved, because if he's not, it'll look like Bebop. Like that's my thing when people say involved, it's like he'll make sure it looks and feels like One Piece. But to your point about the humor aspect, that's going to come down to the writers and the directors to make it more accessible to Western audiences.
I meant like, I'm glad he's involved, but I'm just saying like,
if he wasn't, I'd be I would watch.
like certain stuff they have to, like they literally have to change to make it more
appealing.
Like appeal to more, to like a wider audience. Now, casting wise, I like all the casting characters.
We'll get to that. This is just our intro thoughts.
Oh yeah.
Versen, what you think? How do you feel just going into it?
So my mountain of confidence that I have in this project is based on the fact that it's not a mountain, it's a tiny little like pitcher's mound. Because I'm telling y'all, low expectations will set you free in so many aspects
Facts.
of life.
Facts.
Like,
That's what I did with
and
Flash, and I loved it. Like niggas was so upset about Flash. I was like, why would y'all go into that with high expectations? This is the last DC movie before the reboot. You should not have high expectations. So to your point, you got to go into some of these things with low expectations, real low.
So I'm gonna say this: if you're somebody who has to like see a translation of the manga, like if you already don't like the anime because it takes liberties,
You're
this
not gonna
ain't
like
gonna
this, yeah.
like. And I think we all need to agree that like it's not necessarily even going to necessarily be One Piece in the way we traditionally think about it, because it has to translate into a different medium. There's only 8 episodes, they're an hour long, and they are putting a good amount of money into each
They
episode,
are.
it seems.
I
And
like
we
that.
saw them build the actual ships, but like it's not going to be the same thing, and a lot of things aren't going to be translated the exact same thing. I'm hoping that they lean into the skid quite literally, because my example of something that did it really well was actually that live action Speed Racer movie,
Yeah,
where
true.
it's not Speed Racer 100%, but like they leaned into it and they did what they could with like their limited scope.
Same thing with oh man, I'm looking at it. I'm not James. Robert Rodriguez did it. I'm actually waiting on the sequel. That and Speed Racer are really the only anime live actions that work. It's not Ghost in the Shell. It's with a woman though. Alita Battle Angel. My God, that was good. Like I'd say that was better than Speed Racer. Elite, and to your point, it's not Alita beat for beat, but what it did was it told the story in a Western approach, but they stayed true. They stayed true to paying respects to what it is. And to your point, Saint Speed Racer did the same thing. As long as it stays true and paying homage to what One Piece is, it'll never get a beat for beat. I think that'll be successful. It needs to be more Alita Battle Angel, more Speed Racer, and less Cowboy Bebop, and less Death Note. My God.
You see what I need out of this, and this is the last thing I'll say about my intro thoughts. I need this to be serviceable for me to watch and not cringe to death, and I need it for something that I can show my mom, who is someone who will indulge me and like watch some stuff on occasion, but she's not going to sit down and watch the vast majority of the anime, for various reasons, especially because, as we know, the old style of the anime also looks a little rough by today's standards.
Facts.
So this is a live action thing, so it feels a little less cartoony. And I can show her a couple episodes, hour-long stints, and she can enjoy it, and she can at least kind of get an idea of a story that matters so much to my life and that I've followed for literally decades now. And that's what I need it to be. It will never replace One Piece for me. That's not what I need it for. I just need it to not make me absolutely cringe to death, which again, it might. I'm not going to sit here and say that it won't. But as we go into like the discussion, there are little things here that I think there's been more care woven into it than I think a lot of people expected.
Facts. And to that point, let's dive into it. What makes me excited is The Mandalorian, which looks incredible. Game of Thrones, which looks incredible. Both had 15 million per episode. One Piece has 18 million per episode. So for people out there who's saying, hey, they're not putting money into it. No. This is Netflix's biggest attempt at a budget ever. Like The Witcher didn't even have this much. So that shows me that they at least have faith in it, in the sense of, we're going to put this money into it because we know if we don't, it'll look like shit. Like, it's better. We might as well try and spend the money, because if it's successful, my goodness, this could be one of our biggest shows ever. That's the thing what people don't understand is, if this season is successful, there'll be more money put into it for the next season and for the next season and for the next season. But 18 million, that's more than Marvel shows. So that's a good sign to me. That's huge to me, that it's like, okay, we'll put the money into it.
I will also say I'm just going to bring this up for a financial standpoint. To your point, Jazz, you said that Oda sees his way as breaking out to the West, mostly America, because Europe already loves One Piece. I think Netflix also sees this as a way of trying to like further cement them in the East and a lot of like the Pacific Island countries, because whenever you notice like Netflix having like a big drop off, or like say Disney Plus, a lot of that is because they're losing a lot of rights to Asian properties, or like Disney had its biggest ever drop and people think, oh, it's because Disney went woke or whatever. No, it had its biggest ever drop because it used to have the rights to air cricket matches in Asia, and then it lost it. So
people like to blame wokeness on everything. No, Disney lost a lot of rights to a lot of things in the East. That's a big fact version.
So for Netflix, this is kind of a thing where it's like it's somewhat universal and it can bring more Western eyes onto One Piece, especially in America. And I think Netflix is trying to give more people, especially in developing countries who have a little bit extra pocket money, more reason to bother with a Netflix account
and buy it. Also, Netflix is trying to have their Game of Thrones. Like, if we're gonna be honest, Netflix has not had a show that hit the cultural zeitgeist like a HBO or even like Disney Plus. Disney Plus has Mandalorian and all those Marvel shows. Those shows have hit more so than any of the Netflix's shows. HBO has Game of Thrones, Watchmen, Last of Us. We can go down the list. Netflix hasn't had a show like that since Stranger Things. Like Squid Game did it for them a little bit, but that was a one season thing. We'll see how season 2 works. Stranger Things is ending now. So if you look at it, Netflix doesn't have a tentpole show, and it's like, okay, maybe One Piece can be this tentpole show for us.
What Netflix gets a lot of like syndication kickbacks of like shows,
and they're
that
losing that
made.
now too, because of Peacock and other people taking their shit back. That's another
Paramount
thing.
Plus taking their shit back. Like a lot of these like piddly services that I'm convinced no one actually pays for, but they have their rights to take back their shows, and it's ripping up the bigger competition.
It's hurting Netflix huge. Like the fact that Netflix doesn't have The Office and Parks and Rec made a lot of people not continue to have Netflix. Like Seinfeld's good, but that's only one syndication, to Versen's point. They need something new to hit. That's why they put 18 million in this, and I see it. So let's get into the trailer aspects of it. The one thing that I still need to see that the trailer didn't show me, and the reason what I think the budget's going into, it's Luffy. It's the stretching powers. And as good as Marvel is, we haven't even seen them accomplish stretching powers. Like Fantastic Four was the last attempt at someone doing stretching in movie form. In TV form, The Flash did it with Elongated Man, but that shit looked this is the first attempt at us seeing a new 2023 version of stretching, and that's the thing I'm concerned the most about.
I say you would know this better than me, Lynn, because I didn't really watch that show, but maybe you would have. I hear in Miss Marvel they don't even attempt stretching. They just give her like power.
She's Green Lantern. She's literally she literally, if you know Green Lantern,
or
she
projections.
she makes projections. Instead of green, it's like fucking crystallized. Like they don't even attempt with that. So the first real stretching attempt will be this, and then Fantastic Four.
I say pretty much all Mr. Fantastic.
Groot kind of does it with his like plants, but it's different. It's different. So we'll see how that works. That's my biggest concern from the trailer. Like they didn't show us any of that except the one Alvida punch, and it looked a little weird.
Yeah, like the thing with Groot obviously being is like it's more like fractal and like it's gradual, and you don't like really get like reactions. You get more like a thing happens and then we stay that way. Whereas
this is like this is straight up Mr. Fantastic. Like, and honestly, I feel like that's why Marvel hasn't put it out yet, because that's one of the more difficult powers to show in a live action medium.
I don't necessarily think that there's necessarily a shot it's gonna look great, but I need it to look weird in a way that Luffy's fucking weird. Like if you're gonna fall flat, like no, but if you're gonna mess up or if you're not fully confident in it, I need you to own it and make it campy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. Like if it's not gonna look good, at least make the actor believe that it looks like make him act so well that it's like, okay, we get that this doesn't look good, but it's okay because he believes in it so much that I have to believe in it.
Especially because early One Piece is goofy and Luffy's a goofy power. People treat him like a goofball. And whenever he first gets his power, it's useless because he's like, oh, I'm made of rubber and my bones don't knit together anymore.
But you see the Arlong fight, which will be in this, that's going to be huge. Like that's where it's like, okay, you got to make your powers look good. Jazz, give us some stuff. You haven't talked much. Give us some anywhere you want to go in the trailer. That was just one of the things that I'm worried about.
So, okay, I'm trying to make sure I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you straight.
Okay. So, the things I'm worried about, obviously the stretching, but another thing I was worried about is like how in the sense of like everything is weird. Like even in the East Blue, like there's a lot of weird people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as drastic as when we get to later content, but I'm I'm worried about how they're gonna do like the other powers. Like, how are they gonna do
Buggy.
how are they gonna do Buggy? How are they gonna do like? Are they gonna have Luffy's head like stretch all the way out like it did in Arlong Park, where he's holding I forgot his name, but he's holding up his head like he's holding
no,
up
I know
his
what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. So he could breathe.
Same thing with the Fishman. How will the Fishman look? Like,
right.
The Fishman, I think, might look good because you can do like practical effects
for sure, and that's what I'm hoping, Versen, that they do. For example, if y'all remember Hellboy, Abe Sapien, who is like basically a fish man, if they make him look like that, I'll be okay with it. Like, because that's 100% practical.
Yeah,
they should not go CGI with the Fishman. I'm gonna just be honest. You can have some parts CGI, of course, but for the most,
like
it needs to be it needs to be practical.
Yeah,
I'm
the
with
actual suits and bodies.
Anything else, Jazz, you got that you're concerned about before we get to Versen's concerns, and then we'll get to the positives.
Not really much. I'm trying to stay more on the optimistic side, but like
this
like
is
I
the
said,
time
like,
to be negative.
We're giving you the opportunity. Ball out. Be a hater.
I mean, it's weird. Like, in terms of live action,
I didn't like Buggy's makeup. I'm gonna be honest. That one close up shot, it was just like,
okay. Am I okay? When we get to the
I liked it
because talk about it, but like,
because Buggy's supposed to look evil. He's supposed to be evil. He's scum.
He's
scum. That's probably
he doesn't get revealed.
Yeah.
He doesn't get revealed to be a fraud until after Orangetown. So it's like he's. Remember, Buggy was terrorizing Orangetown before.
For no reason.
Yeah, true.
He was beating up like
I just didn't like that close up shot. Maybe when I see it in like full on body, I'll prefer it. But that was just, if I'm being nitpicky about cons, I got some good positives though. Versen, any negatives you got that you want to tap into?
The last thing I'll say about the Buggy thing is I think that's also going to be like his first shot Luffy sees him, so he's supposed to be kind of weird and terrifying.
For sure.
And then Luffy's going to make a joke about the nose, and then Buggy's going to be like, you bitch. And then it's going to be like more slapstick. But yeah, a couple like concerns, like a couple minor things, like some of it's like costuming. Like, I get that it would have been maybe difficult because you have to keep applying it, but again, when you're having fishmen who probably are going to be wearing like full suits, I don't really understand why not. Sanji doesn't have his eyebrow, which is not the biggest thing in the world to me, but I do kind of hope that there's maybe at least a nod to it at some point.
To me, that's more important than the people. People are upset about Usopp's clothing, and me and you talked about this in our Discord. It's like, we'll get to that, bro. Like, people don't realize there's a bunch of different clothes in East Blue. Like, Usopp will have his goggles, he will have his bandana, and he'll have his slingshot.
We see him with the bandana and
the slingshot.
The only thing we don't see him with, and the only thing that's like a little bit like an eyebrow for Usopp for me is the goggles. Yeah, because it's weird, because that's just something you can just put on his head.
I think,
but maybe he'll get them later.
That's what I'm about to say. We both know he's gonna have those goggles. But to your point,
they come up later.
The Sanji eye thing is more of a issue to me, but I get you can't,
and then
how do you do that to someone's eyebrow? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you would literally have to like stencil it on. I will say I think that might be a joke later that involves his eyebrow, and we might get it in season 2 if we have one.
And that's the thing, we got to make sure if you start this, you have to finish it. Like, if you want a season 2, you can't just watch it and then stop. Netflix's biggest thing is seeing shows completed. If they see everybody completed it, we'll get more of a chance of getting a season 2 than if, people watch the first 3 episodes and stopped.
I really want to see, even if it's just like a one-off special, I want to see Drum Island, kind of. Because I think that'd be very interesting. I'd like to see Chopper.
Yeah, that's season 2.
But yeah, and then I know, that's what I'm saying. But and then
any other negatives,
as for the prosthetic nose thing, one, that's difficult if you're doing like a prosthetic nose that has to be in motion. You're gonna have to constantly like reapply it.
I prefer that he doesn't have niggas are tripping on that.
Like, you can communicate that he's a Pinocchio / liar figure through his actions, which the actor has already done in promos.
Facts.
You don't necessarily have to resort to the nose. And also, let's keep it 100, as you guys can obviously voice more on this than I can. Usopp's design, especially from Jump, and I kind of wish they would have fixed it a little bit more after post.
A little racist.
It's caricature, He's got like the ovally lips and then like the long nose, which again, it's mostly a Pinocchio thing, but it still is kind of racist,
And that's why I'm glad that they did it this way. The way that they cast this black character or this black actor for a black character, which people don't like to acknowledge that Usopp is a black character. He is, and it's like, I prefer how they did it, in my opinion, because it makes him less of this caricature in the 90s Japanese animation style where all black characters have big lips and all this. It makes him realistic, and it shows that Oda is fixing his past mistakes. Like, I love how this guy looks, man. Like, that is awesome. Like, he is Usopp. Like, I'll make sure I'll pull up the pictures.
Also, like the point to where it's like oh, well, Usopp doesn't have his nose. And it's kind of just like, I feel like that's like nitpicks like those are
unnecessary,
like,
bro.
because like the actors have to act, and then it's like you also have to make sure the production team can do things within their skill set that's not gonna make it too difficult for them to like for the actors to act. It's like,
can y'all see this
thing. Yeah.
So, like, why would we have Usopp look like this, bro? That is, to me, an issue and a problem. No one would take it serious if Usopp looked like this. But this? That's badass, bro. Like, as much as Usopp's not a cool character in the beginning, this guy may make Usopp lovable before he's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Let me not say lovable. Badass before he's supposed to be. Because Usopp's always lovable. It's his badassness that is in question at times.
Yeah. My only one minor nitpick that I've actually kind of grown on is people have said like there's a little of like a Marvel dialogue kind of thing going, and I know what they mean, and that did kind of catch with me. But keep in mind, one, that's going to happen naturally when we're changing mediums, and a lot of people who don't know One Piece is. But two, again, East Blue Saga is a lot more goofy. It's more quippy. Zoro
it's more like comedic. Zoro was more of a drinker and a comedian in the beginning.
I feel like people don't remember, but like, until like we beat Little Garden, Zoro is like about as goofy as the rest of them. It's not till like he almost dies whenever he's being put in the wax that like he actually gets to stick up his ass.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, like, you know, so there's a couple things like that. Also, some people are like, Zoro's doing the whole thing about saying we're not a crew. It's because he's talking to Nami. And at first, Zoro has because he doesn't fucking trust her. As well, he shouldn't.
That shows to me that people didn't read the beginning, or they don't remember.
It's
every day, social media confirms that like people just started One Piece at Wano, and they just didn't read the rest of the series. Like, it's crazy. Like, but I think they had like a really good counter. Like, I mean, like, look, I'ma still watch it in the original dub that they did the show in, because I feel like that's the way to watch it. But I feel like they had the perfect counter with the news that they had earlier this week that the original cast, like the Japanese cast,
for the sub,
is going to do the Japanese dub. So it's like, even if people don't like the English, they're gonna watch like the Japanese dub, which I don't. I'm
gonna watch the English actors. But if I don't vibe with it, then I might switch. And I think that's dope for fans of the sub, to where if you don't vibe with it, you could switch it up.
That fixes that dialogue problem that people were talking about. Because like when people are like, oh, the gum sounds weird, and then Luffy voice actor is on the live action, it's like, okay, now you don't have that gripe no more. Now you can hear how you always hear it.
Exactly, facts. And that's my thing, because the gum thing, that's why I don't watch the dub version of One Piece. I don't like how the dub voice actor sounds, but I think that, to your point, this will be a little better. Now, let's get to some of the positives, because there are a lot of positives that, and I know I've been super negative, but here I'm going to show you some of the things that I really like. Bro, these sets, this is beautiful, bro. I'm sorry. The Baratier set, like, they put money into this. That shit looks
I think that's my favorite.
Great.
Because we see the inside of it too in the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't even see that part. I'm just talking about the outside. The outside looks incredible. The fucking ships, like Garp ship, bro. Some of that shit is beautiful, man.
So can we talk about, like, this is such,
wherever you want to go.
So one thing I genuinely like about this is that they change clothes. Like, one thing that I think people tend to miss when it's live action is like they have them in the same clothes like it's anime. And it's like, like, anime and manga can do that because it would be completely like asinine to just draw characters in new clothes every day.
Yeah.
But like with actual people, you can put them in different clothes. And
I like that they used clothes from the early SBSs and the early
Color spread.
color spreads, yeah, to make their different clothes. I think that is such a smart idea, and that shows that the people making this are fans.
Like they were better about it than I was, because a lot of those early color spreads I don't remember, and I love this fucking series. Like we have a podcast about it, and the fact that they were like, oh, we will change clothes, and it's like, well, we got these fancy nice little things right here. Like, I don't know, like again, like you said, like it's gonna be good in that part because even the minor details like that are woven in,
and that shows they care. That's a big thing with me. Another positive, and this to me is the biggest positive. I think that this person will be the breakout star from the show. Let me get his name because I don't want to mess this up. But yo, Mac and you, the dude who plays Zoro, bro.
Oh, McKinney?
McKinney, Mac and you, whatever, however you pronounce his name, whoever that is, that dude is gonna be a breakout star and get so many roles in the West. Because what I saw in the little bit of the trailer, that was my favorite person in the whole fucking thing. The way he was fighting his axe, bro, that dude looks great. It looks great.
So I was actually curious because I heard people say a lot of good things about him because they always reference the live action Rurouni Kenshin.
And they say he kills it.
I looked at some of the clips. Bro is legit. Like
they say he's a legit sword fighter. Yep.
Yeah, and like I know that they put a lot of training into Sanji VA for kickboxing and stuff as well. You know, like the casting and the costuming and the set design, I honestly have absolutely no problem with, like at all. And I'm very confident that they'll be able to do a lot of good stuff with it.
Yeah, look, Sanji's my second. Like the stuff that we saw with him kicking in there, like I think Sanji and Zoro will be the people's favorite people from this show. Easily too, bro. Like what I saw in the trailer, those two dudes, I gotta give Mac and you and Zaz, I think his name is Zaz Taylor. I think that's how you put, or I think that's how you say his name. Zaz.
I think it's Taz.
Oh, Taz Taylor, not Zaz. Excuse me, Taz Taylor. Look between Mac and you and Taz. Oh no, Taz Skyler. Excuse me, Taz Skyler. I think Taz Skyler will be number 2, and Mac and you number 1. But my goodness, those dudes looked incredible in the trailer, man. Like they did. Like I got to give them props.
And to your point, like the big action scene we get with Zoro in the trailer is something we don't get, you know, like in even the actual manga, but it's not because it's not canon. It's because we went back in the SBS and that's Mr. 7 he's fighting, you know, or at least it looks just like him. So
someone
even
like
in stuff
that,
even in the extended stuff, like we're getting at least references to stuff that Oda always wanted but didn't have time for. So, you know, I'm really a big fan of that. I will say, if it lasts long enough for us to see Kobe whenever Kobe's like henched, we need to get the actress some HGH because they like dude they look perfect for current Kobe.
They don't look good for future Kobe.
Well, but that's the thing though, like they shouldn't have to. Like we're gonna have to get this person.
You think they get a new actor? They might have to get a new actor, man.
No, man.
They gotta put him on. They gotta put him on the training regimen.
Wait, no, real shit. Just how there's no bro. Young Kobe does not look like old Kobe. So if we get to Water 7 and there's a new actor, I'm not upset. But to your point, if the actor's down, he gonna need to, or they, I don't want to misgender them. They are gonna need some HGH.
They got like 2 seasons. They got like 2 seasons to get ready, maybe 3, depending on how Sky P gets chopped up.
Yeah, 2 seasons. What is that? That's like what? At least like 8 years. Yeah, that's
So I'm assuming that Alabasta will be 1 season and Sky P will be 1 season. So to your point, Versen, they got 3.
Sky P a movie.
They're not doing that. You know damn they doing. They doing 8 episodes in that Sky P. That's what we getting. But to your point, Kobe looks perfect right now. But when we get to Water 7. And look, you know what would be badass? If in one of the seasons leading up to Kobe, we get the cover story and we see him and we see they training. Like that'd be badass. Like, and it's like, okay, we see their transformation. But to your point, Kobe's gonna need some HGH. Anything else y'all really liked about the trailer before we move on? Anything else y'all could think about that, like whether you like it or you're worried? So like I said, the Fishman, I need to see how that looks.
Lord of the Coast looks good.
You're right.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The
And you got to
CGI
see
in
your
Lord of
boy.
the Coast looks
Yeah,
good.
look, I ain't want my man Shanks gonna look badass. I'm ready
And
for it.
I hear a lot of good things about the buggy actor. Like
Mhm.
I think like, and if this is any kind of thing that's gonna go the distance, I'm glad we got someone who like is a good buggy.
A good actor, yeah.
Yeah, because you have to be able to sell both sides of Buggy, where he's like very genuine, and the other times where it's like, oh, he's like the literal biggest clown in the universe.
Facts.
Yo.
I'm trying to see. I like how Garp's actor looks. Garp's
Mhm.
actor looks badass. Mihawk's actor looks badass. Zeph's actor looks bad. Like the people that are supposed to look badass look badass. Shanks, Zeph, Mihawk, Garp. They all look badass.
And they also have that thing where Zeph's actor has been working a lot with
Sanji's actor. Yep.
years.
Yep,
like,
yep, yep.
That's
I
his
think that was
protege.
a cool. I think that was a cool choice to
was-
make
that was really
Sanji's
nice.
actor and Zeph's actor be friends in real life. I thought that was dope. Also, I like that they made Lucky Rule black guy. Me personally, I do like that. I think that's dope for Shanks' crew. Also, Captain Morgan, he looks badass. I'm trying to see some of the other people that they
Also,
had.
Usopp's
Oh,
mom and
that
dad
was-
are hot. What the fuck, guys?
Usopp's what?
Usopp's mom and dad are real hot. Like, if you see
You know
the
what's
actor
crazy?
and actress,
They really trying to push that Yasop hate agenda, because it's like, how could Yasop lead that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Usopp's mom
like-
is a pretty lady.
yeah,
Holy
dude,
shit.
yeah, dude, like Usopp's got a pedigree in the show, man. Like, what the hell?
Like, yeah.
Wait,
I
I
will
don't
say-
see Yasop. Wait, I'm trying to see on this picture.
I will say another thing I did like. I like the fact that like, it's a very small detail, but like when Zoro's like kind of on the cross, you see it, like, you don't see the whole thing, but you see like the huge poster of Captain Morgan.
Yep.
And it's like, it kind of reminds me of like how North Korea like has their
That propaganda
posters
shit,
of
bro.
like their leaders and stuff, and I was like, okay, I like this.
Oh, there we
Alright,
go. I see Yasop.
I say-
before you
I could
sent
only
it, I
find
just
this-
found it. Yeah.
Yeah, I could
Dude
only
looks
find the smallest picture
badass,
known,
man.
man.
Like, gotta get Usopp's family. They did a good job. And also, Nojiko's a hot lady. Like,
Mhm.
and
God bless.
Nami's mom. So, like, I know some people could be like, oh, Nojiko's a black woman. Like, chill out, bro. Chill out with all of that shit. Like,
Ain't
Also,
Nojiko
that's-
darker skinned in it anyway?
she is.
And they're both adopted, so what do you think?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude?
Like, they're not both
Exactly.
like
They were just on the same
Exactly.
island. That doesn't mean that they were like actual blood kin, and that's
Exactly.
not what, that's what
they're
fucking
not
matters.
blood sisters,
Now, the
like-
only one that I don't like is Dragon. I'm gonna be real.
Well,
like when you look at
wait, I haven't
when you-
seen Dragons.
when you
actually.
look at Garp and then Luffy, it's like, bro, where did they get Dragon?
I say, yeah, Dragon's actor's like Indian, I think.
Like,
dude. Like,
completely different than Garp and Luffy. Like, it's pushing the agenda that Dragon is not really Garp's
Yeah.
kid.
that it's actually Dragon's wife was.
Yeah,
Garp's kid,
that's
that kind of
exactly.
theory.
That's what it's looking like, because Dragon don't look nothing like Luffy and don't look nothing
No.
like
Hey.
Garp.
But you know what? I mean, you know what? Let it play though.
Hey,
Mhm.
Let it
he's
play.
gotta get his looks
I'll
from
see how it
somewhere.
goes.
Let's see what happens. But I'm
Yeah,
excited
because
about
even in the manga, like Luffy is
Doesn't look like-
the image of Garp. Does not really
Mhm.
look like Dragon, except like some of the hair color.
that. You're
So,
right. So, and
you know.
that goes back to that agenda of, is
Possum
he...
Roxy Bazak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have really on the live action. We will be reviewing it when it comes out. We'll probably, I know Netflix drops everything all at once, but we'll probably review one episode a week. That way people can, watch and get ready. Something else that dropped during this that we'll talk about right now before we finish up, the OBS. How do y'all feel about the the SBS, excuse me. How do y'all feel about the SBS this time around? Any thoughts?
I feel like out of all the SBSs, there
This was a
some
weak one.
cool stuff.
I
Yeah,
would
like there
s-
was
I would
some
use
cool
the
stuff,
term
but it
light.
just felt
Light
Yeah,
instead
like-
of weak. Okay.
it felt like more so of Oda being like, guys, this is not what this is. And not just the Hancock thing, it just felt like other things. He was just kind of like, oh, let me explain this real quick.
I think he had to, because they have fucking pedos out there trying to make this seem like something it's not.
I will say it was cool that we got our Amaki's justice, and
Justice.
we got confirmation on Isho, which is honorable justice.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense that he's honorable justice and Green Bull is deadly justice, aka a representation of what's going on right now with all of the different cops and whatnot.
Mhm.
So, and we see that's a worldwide thing because France is rioting right now because a cop killed a kid in France right now, and they are not okay with that shit.
Yeah, like not for nothing, but again, just for me to give on my little soapbox again, One Piece tells you very definitely, don't fucking trust cops, kids. Don't do it. So I'm glad. I'm thankful. We have a fun little thing where it's like, what will Brook like whenever he's 20, 40, whatever years old, and what's his alt timeline? And
skeleton.
He's still just a skeleton, which does lead with the whole thing.
You want to send that in Discord so I can see that?
That's Brook is just functionally immortal.
Pretty much, man. Like pretty fucking much.
Like I think most of us kind of assumed that, but this is like hard confirmation of, oh yeah, Brook's gonna outlast the Straw Hats. Sadly.
That's crazy, man.
All of them.
Like I like Frankie's. If he didn't turn, if the Straw Hats don't succeed, how he turns into a fucking ship. Like to me, out of all the people that if it doesn't work, Frankie's the coolest looking one. Whereas Sanji starts to look like Judge. Luffy looks like a crackhead old man, and fucking Zoro looks like a drunk.
Yeah, dude, Chopper turns into like a fucking like demon
monster.
God.
Yeah,
like with child sacrifices and shit. And also Robin starts selling children on the market. So
yeah,
I'm glad we're in this timeline.
Yeah, also, I'm glad we're not in that timeline.
Everybody's been talking about the Hancock thing. Me personally, my whole thing is how in the hell all of CP9 get promoted 8 spots? No, 9 actually.
Well, because they
Bonham's in there as a mascot.
Lucci and all of them put their feet to the fire, bro. Lucci was like, if I'm going, my homie's coming with me. Because that you gotta realize that cover story really bonded them, bro. Like Lucci's like, that's my family. Like, fuck y'all. I'm just honestly shocked that Lucci still decided to be a part of the government. And to your point, Jazz, I think that's why he's still a part of it, because he got everything he wanted. His homies promoted, and he probably got money out the ass.
And also, it's a thing where he can kill as much as he wants, and the government can't. Like, but I will say that though, to your point,
he's not gonna get reprimanded for it.
Yeah, to your point though, like Lucci did say he wanted to like start picking fights with the world government before the time skip happened. So it does lead me to believe, like, again, I don't know if he's gonna turn. I kind of don't want him to, but I do think Lucci has a series of grudges in the world government, and I think when everything starts kicking off,
he will not be afraid to turn. Like,
especially now that he has his whole team. Like, I think that was something that made me worry.
And I think there's some respect for Luffy too. Like, if you see where they're at in Egghead, it's like, okay, I know you kicked my ass, but there's some level of respect there.
Yeah, he's being forced to acknowledge that Luffy is emperor level, unlike the rest of the fan base who still says Luffy isn't. But
which is crazy. But
they're fucking idiots.
that's neither here or there.
I'm glad we got Sentomaru backstory. It's a cute little thing.
Also, that we learn more about K Room.
Yeah.
And how the K in Kroom actually stands for sword, because the K in knife. The K Room actually stands for sword because the K in knife. That's what they said. And the K Room allows Law to connect to his Kikoru to a remote room and operate without actually being there. That's pretty interesting.
Okay, so then somebody needs to ask him about the room. How is he able to recreate devil fruit abilities?
Who you talking about,
like
Law?
Somebody. Well, I mean, okay, I guess you could kind of explain that like it's it's still like a room, like a surgery operation, and he just takes out the vocal cords, maybe. But like,
well,
I mean, you made it seem like they was creating something new. I'm not upset about the sound thing. The sound thing is like,
no, the sound thing was fire. Like, I like that. That was hella fire. I'm just saying, I would like for it to be explained. Like, I just don't want to guess no more.
But I think that's what it is. Like, to your point, I don't think it's a guess. I think it's like, oh, he takes out their vocal cords. Like, it's not like recreating someone else's devil fruit. Is just doing operations. It's just Law's a doctor and knows how to do real surgeries and whatnot.
Well, let me help just like level it out, because I don't even think it's that complicated. Law has always been able to treat the room as if it were an operating room, including being able to like get rid of germs and stuff. Y'all do know that a lot of like surgery rooms are just soundproofed.
True,
Like,
that is true.
I don't think it affects the patient so much as this barrier. No sound is coming.
That's a great point, because when doctors are watching the thing from the top, they can't hear anything.
Oh, they can't hear anything.
What they have? Well, they can, because they put a speaker. But if that speaker wasn't in the room that's up the top, they wouldn't be able to hear anything. Versen's absolutely right.
Yeah, so I think it's less the quality of who the patient is, and I think it's more of just the basically kind of like being able to assign certain properties. And whenever it's our room, it's like, okay, one of the properties of our room activating is this is a soundproof room. Meaning you can talk and you can yell, but no one on the outside, like your homies with Big Mom, is gonna be able to hear it. So it doesn't fucking matter.
Speaking of which, I know we running on time.
No, we can talk about the anime. The anime will be the last thing we'll talk about. That's fine.
Bro, because the anime, look, man, I think my only problem with One Piece is that, like, I'm greedy, and I wish every episode of the anime could have the same quality. But I guess it's kind of the charm.
That's budget.
I'm not. But
no anime in the world could ever do that shit, because it costs too much money.
But, like, I mean, sometimes, like, you could definitely see it. Like, some episodes of One Piece are like here, and then other episodes are like here.
Yeah,
like
sure.
I just wish. I understand it's kind of like egregious to ask them to keep, like, kind of be in the same, like,
they can't afford that.
They can't do that.
Also,
and it's like,
that's very bad for the workers, Jess.
Yeah,
you know how much work goes into some of that shit?
My bad.
I started. You're on your sweatshop.
Yo, chill.
Jazz said, "You niggas get to work."
I say, Jazz says, "Why y'all lazy? Why y'all lazy while I'm watching on the free feed?"
Hey, look, I said, yes, look, I don't give a damn what Gear 5 look like. Give me my EZO scenes, nigga.
Oh my god.
Give me my EZO scenes.
They could keep that shit and it was coming. Bruh, keep that fucking I don't even know that ninja name no more, bro.
Oh, it's done. The fight done. The fight done.
Yeah,
now, so
the god won. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
And because Raizo won, that means that the peak of Wano has already been over. So I don't know why y'all still watching.
But I will say, the kid-in-law fight with Big Mom was incredible, bro. That was like, I know Sanji and Zoro, or where people say those are the two high points, but kid-in-law right there with them. And like, I feel so bad for Kid, because they did such a good job in the anime just to know he about to just get one-shotted, nigga.
Also, we gotta also acknowledge that it's also historic, because they had an American run it.
Yeah, Henry
and they also brought in a bunch of like a bunch of American talent, like Ian Jones Quarty, who's
I think that's gonna be big for Gear 5.
Yeah,
they're getting ready.
Yeah, they're preheating the oven, as it were. But yeah, like Ian Jones Quarty did like the scene where Big Mom's like lady homie just like really fucked up Kid.
It's just beating his ass, bro.
Yeah,
that gave me so much respect for Kid. Like that, like in the manga they didn't show that, but like, bro, she was going off on him with them hands, and the way Big Mom looked was very Looney Tunes-esque. So boy, Gear 5 is gonna be nuts.
Which also fits, because if we remember, Whole Cake Island is like Disney inspired. Like it's a wonderland. So it's nice that her big moments like embrace the medium just a little bit. And like you said, it predates the album for Gear 5. So
I think one of the best parts of this kid-in-law versus Big Mom fight that the Zoro and Sanji fight didn't have for me, at least in my opinion, because like it feel like it's a struggle for Kid-in-Law in the manga.
It's a dog
anime. They
expounded on it, bro.
Like, I mean, not to say that Sanji and Queen and King and Zoro weren't.
No, they were.
But also to your point though, once Sanji got it going, I think he had it handled.
And same thing with Kid. Same thing with Zoro. Yeah.
Like, when Zoro got it going, it was pretty one-sided.
Also, we got to realize that Zoro and Sanji were fighting commanders.
Yeah, 100%. This is what a Yonko fight should be.
Exactly, bro. Like, Zoro and Sanji were fighting commanders and showing that, hey, we are our Yonko's commanders. We can take out other Yonko commanders. Whereas Kid-in-Law were fighting for their fucking life against a Yonko, bro. Like
Law had to pull out like 4 finishers.
Law's
and
like,
Kid had to try
one more time.
Kid had to try something that he didn't even know he could do, which is that damn railgun. Like they were they were trying their last and ultimate moves. Into Versen's point, it shows like this is a Yonko fight, bro. It takes two guys who are not Yonko level yet. You can say that Kid and Law are between Yonko Commander 1 and Yonko. They're not necessarily Luffy yet, but it takes two of them to take one down, and it just shows how strong Big Mom is. And I think we needed that because the film Red kind of took away from us seeing some of that, and I think the anime did a good job of giving us that back.
It kind of reminds me of the last fight of Naruto, where it got so desperate to the point where they were just throwing like blood in each other's eyes and just fucking like throw an actual fist. Or like if you're in a really good D&D game where like you've used up all your big shit, and it's like it's just a roll at this point. It's just a fucking,
roll of the dice. Yeah. What would y'all say the best fight is right now between Sanji and Queen, Zoro and King, and Kid and Law and Big Mom? I think I'm leaning towards Kid and Law and Big Mom.
Yeah. And then I think my Sanji bias puts Sanji and Zoro, and that's not down.
See, the funny thing is, I was about to say, I think my Sanji bias is making me put Zoro too. Like that Zoro and King fight was great, whereas I wanted more from Sanji and Queen. Like,
but we got all the backstory stuff, and Zoro and Sanji's real fight was
sure. And look, and you know, I'm a Sanji guy.
Also,
and I appreciate
those visuals though.
I appreciate the backstory and everything, but to me, in terms of a fight, I got to give it to Zoro and King because the visuals were there. There was actual fighting, but that's why I got Kid and Law.
Number one. Actual fighting, like I know everyone loves it, and don't get me wrong, I loved watching it, but like whenever they started doing like the beam spam is whenever I was kind of like a little.
That's not his fault. That's the animators.
Well, that's what we're grading on, ain't we? I'm not talking about the characters.
But I'm just saying.
I'm talking about what I watched.
Sanji just had not a lot. It wasn't much. I'm giving the edge to sport, but that's me. You got Sanji second. We both got Kid and Law first. Where you going, Jazz?
I got so I got Kid and Law versus Big Mom. Did I freeze again?
No, you're back. Keep talking. Just
you're
as long as you keep talking, you'll be okay. Now you're frozen because you stopped. Let's see if he
for sure.
All right, you back. Just talk. You good.
Bro. Bro, I don't even know.
You back? What you got? You give us your ranking. You back?
Anyway, I got Kid and Law versus Big Mom first. I got Sanji versus Queen second, and then I have
Zoro and King third.
I have Zoro and King third. The only reason I can't put Zoro and King like higher is because I feel like the character moments I needed from Zoro came from King. And I like that. Don't get me wrong. I like that. But I felt like this was
Zoro
more
haters.
I'm not. No, this is a legitimate.
And
criticism.
I'm just fucking with y'all. Yeah. I knew y'all both was gonna say something. You see how I triggered them, ladies and gents? These fucking haters.
Look.
Zoro, anyway, I think we can
around.
agree from that episode that Zoro can already beat Mihawk. So really, what's the point?
Oh my gosh, we're ending this. It's done. Episode is over. But go ahead, Jazz. Finish up.
But yeah, I can't. Like, there was a lot more. I have Kid and Law versus Big Mom so high because like there's a lot more choreography. Like, if I will be honest, Zoro bias aside, it felt like Zoro versus King felt like DBZ towards the end, and that's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
I like
it's not
that.
Bad.
We needed.
I like it too, but like it doesn't feel like a fight. You feel me? Like Sanji versus Queen felt like a fight. Kid and Law versus Big Mom felt like a fight because you even got to see one of my favorite parts from that episode was the perspective of those dynamic shots of Law just transporting around and being like a nuisance for Big Mom, and it's like that's what's in the kit. What's in Zoro's kit is like, that brute strength. So I get that, but that's not me personally. That's just not all the way for me. I was geeked. The me head in me was geeked. But from a critic standpoint, I was
Get on their ass, ladies and gents. Get on their ass.
nah,
in the comments.
somebody gonna be in the comments.
Get on your
like,
ass saying that they have no choreography. What's wrong with you?
No, they did. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like in terms of comparing it to the other two fights.
Comparing it to Kid
you know
and
what
Law,
I'm
you're 100% right. But the Sanji thing is like that. To
Well, Sanji
me,
didn't really start
I
cooking
felt
until
like
the end.
I felt like they left a lot on the table with the Sanji thing, man. Like I wanted a lot more of the manga shots that they just didn't include. I wanted more of the kicks. Like it didn't live up to my expectations.
I mean, I agree, but I will say this from a character perspective. Again, Sanji doesn't give a fuck about Queen.
Sure.
Sanji is not paying Queen any mind.
That's fair, but the
and-
fan in me wanted some more kicks. I needed some more dynamicness.
Yeah,
my man wasn't getting enough, and I get that it was more about the eternal struggle, and that's why I liked Sanji's character. But in terms of just actual pause, he ain't put them pause like we want. I wanted.
That's gonna change whenever we get to Egghead and he fights a literal child. That's all. That's all the fight you could possibly want.
Oh, also, last thing about the anime, I will say, I think that's like the first time in any One Piece episode we get to see like the last episode, not the one that just aired this past Saturday, but the one before.
The Kid in Law.
Yeah. So the fact that the beginning of the episode starts
was a flashback.
Was a flashback, and like we got to see Kid as like a child, like throughout his whole life, and I liked all those black and white.
Me too.
Those black and white sketches, and the perspective of like it kind of seemed like. It didn't really seem like Kid was drenched in blood. It seemed like he was drenched in oil, kind of.
There were times, I thought that too. Yeah. There were times where it was like blood mixed with oil, and I was like, "That's pretty damn cool."
And that's why. And also one of my.
It did great for a kid's character overall.
It did. Yes, it did. It really and it makes me upset. And he needs coming. That. He needed that. Well, yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another time. I know where you're going. We're gonna do a kid video set.
Sure. But like I think the thing why the last episode didn't hit as hard as the episode before is that I felt like this was such a monumental moment, and maybe this is just me nitpicking, but it's like them going to other cuts, like Zoro falling through the ground, or like the Raizo versus Fukuro Kujo fight being done, or the the Yamato and Momo stuff needed to happen because that's actually at the end of the chapter. But like I felt like there was a lot of emphasis on Big Mom, like finally falling, but I just felt like them cutting to other things while that was happening kind of took away.
They needed
a little bit of that.
It was something that had to happen.
It was a mob bomb.
Yeah, it was like we got to clean up everything before we get to Gear 5. So, but all right, everybody, that was our just basically covering what's been going on in the One Piece world. We will have a Gorosei video coming, I promise. We'll have some other videos coming before the chapter drops, so make sure you tune into that. Versen, tell the people they can follow you on social media.
We'll do. Also, today actually, the trailer for Egghead Island Arc
I saw that
dropped, and I liked it. It was very fun. It was very like Popeye.
Yeah, it's okay. It was
the song was good. Whatever.
I'm just being a hater.
All right. Anyway, but yeah, follow me at Versen the Vassal pretty much anywhere.
It looks very DBZ. Sorry to cut you off. It looks very DBZ. But
yeah, I like all the colors. I like I like that Oda ever since Wano is letting his color palette sing a little bit more.
Yep.
You know. So. But yeah, follow me anywhere. Mostly Twitter or Instagram or whatever at Versen the Vassal, or use my real name. You can probably see it on the screen, Josh Tosclair. Doing a lot of work over in Southwest Louisiana right now, trying to stop some pipeline build outs. So we might have some like rallies to support coming out soon, but nothing yet. So anyway, all of you. Oh, also I still have my GoFundMe up for helping reimburse cost for DSA convention next month. On my birthday, the 5th. Show some love if you feel like it. So
hell yeah, make sure y'all go follow him on Twitter and check that out. We'll put the links and everything in the description. Jazz, tell the people they can follow you on social media.
You could follow me on Instagram, Jazzy Boy. You can follow me on Twitter, Real Jazzy Boy. You can follow me on TikTok, Cornell the God. Something to look out for in the near future. I just kind of caught up on Witch Hat Atelier, and there will be a review, first impressions of that coming out pretty soon. It was a very good read. I'm excited to talk about it.
Hell yeah, y'all make sure y'all go follow Jazz on all of his social platforms and be on the lookout for that video. You follow me at LinBWT everywhere, Twitter, TikTok. Also on Spill, in case Twitter goes away, I am on Spill at LinBWT. I really like the layout of Spill, so hopefully it catches on. So y'all make sure y'all follow me there. Follow the YouTube Bros Who Think. Like I said, a lot of good content coming out. Jazz and I have a Black Clover movie review coming, as well as talking about the anime. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. But until next time, for Jazz, for Versen, my name is Lennon. Y'all have a good one, and peace.